Good morning. My name is Jay Rosenthal. I'm the Managing Director of Business of Cannabis. Welcome back from the long weekend. Whether you celebrated President's Day in the U.S. or some version of Family Day here in Canada, we're glad to be back with you on the Cannabis Daily Show for Tuesday, February 22nd. Since 2017, we've highlighted the companies, brands, people, and trends driving the cannabis industry, and we'd love to hear from you in the comments about this show and anything else. Always feel free to visit us at businessofcannabis.com, as well as all our social channels, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And please do subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already. A few announcements. February 24th, that is Thursday, we'll be back for our retail series with a focus on new guidance from regulators on the relationship between brands and retailers in Ontario. On March 10th, we'll be in Brooklyn for Business of Cannabis New York sessions about connecting social equity licensees with capital. That event is presented by Leafly and Vicente Sederberg. For today's stories, we'll look at Canadian cannabis sales. We'll look at Canadian cannabis consumer and patient trends. We'll talk about the Parallel CEO and his promise around social equity. We'll talk about the USDA released results around the National Hemp Survey and the Italian court blocking cannabis reform. For our first story, retail cannabis sales rose to $382.4 million in December, according to new data from Statistics Canada and on the new Cannabis Ventures. Now, some numbers. That's 8.5% increase from November and almost 29% increase year over year. In Ontario, saw the biggest leap where sales were up 5% from November, but almost 70% from a year ago. Contrast that with Alberta, where sales were up 11% from November, but only 3% from a year ago. Now, falling flower prices and increased stores in Ontario are bringing consumers over to the regulated market, according to the report. For our second story, each week Business of Cannabis delivers a series of highlights from our partners at Cannabis Benchmarks. And this week, Cannabis Benchmark analyzed data collected by Health Canada regarding trends in cannabis usage in the country and what it means about where people are getting their cannabis. We encourage you to look at that briefing on our website, businessofcannabis.com. For our third story, multi-state operator Parallel's new CEO, James Whitcomb, apologized for his company's lack of support for equity initiatives, this in an open letter to the cannabis industry. Some things they're going to do differently. They're going to listen and learn from legacy cannabis entrepreneurs. They're going to support the recommendations of the Minority Cannabis Business Association's latest report. And they're going to work to create economic opportunities for underserved communities and expand access to cannabis. We encourage you to come to our event in Brooklyn on March 10th. We'll actually be hearing from Amber Littlejohn from the Minority Cannabis Business Association about some of their recommendations. For our fourth story, the value of U.S. hemp market last year reached $824 million, according to the USDA's first ever survey on the national hemp industry. This in a report on Marijuana Moment. Some highlights: there were over 54,000 acres of hemp grown in the U.S., 20,000 hemp growers participated in the survey, and the survey asked about outdoor production, crop uses, prices, and looked at smokables, cannabinoid extracts, food, fiber, and seeds. For our final story, Italy's highest court has blocked plans to hold a referendum on cannabis reform. That, according to BusinessCan, more than 630,000 signatures have been collected in the effort to turn the issue into a vote, but Constitutional Court President Giuliano Amato said reform would violate, quote, multiple international obligations. Those are the stories we're watching today. Join 10,000 others and catch all these stories in your inbox every morning at 7 a.m. Eastern with our Cannabis Daily newsletter. That was episode 32 of the Cannabis Daily Show. Thank you for joining us this week on YouTube, and please do subscribe if you have not already, and we will see you